meet you, Mrs. Toombs. Nice to meet you. Nice to finally put a face with a voice. How are you doing today? Excellent, excellent. Yes, this is very exciting. Okay, great. So, basically today we're going to narrow down the trip that you're taking in May. I know that you expressed interest in traveling to a few places over the next year. So your dates were for May, July, and September. Okay. Yes. And your spots of interest, let's see, are Greece, France, and Amsterdam. Okay. Yes. So let's figure out where you're going to go in May. I understand. So that's what I'm here to do, is to give you advice and tips. Let's look at my calendar for May. Okay. So it's May 1st through May 10th. Now, I think you should save Amsterdam for fall, and that area, they have all kinds of really cool events that go on in the fall. And not that France isn't beautiful in the fall, but I think you'll find that you'll enjoy, yeah, definitely. As far as where to go in July, I take it that whether you're in France or Greece, the Mediterranean will be involved. You're going to want to go swimming, maybe scuba diving. I will say that France is, their French Mediterranean is pricey and very crowded in the summertime. I recommend Greece for summer, and that would leave France in the spring, which, to be honest, I think is a lovely time to go. Paris is less crowded, there's beautiful gardens and around the castles and some of the French countryside, and I think that you would really enjoy France in May. You're sold? Okay, great. So I'm going to ask you some questions to help you plan where in France we're going to go. Okay. First of all, you've got your file here. And we're going to go ahead and write down, if you just want to give me a number of your budget, around 5,000. Okay. But you're flexible? Okay. And that includes you and your spouse? Okay. Okay. No? It's totally doable. Okay. That's what I'm here to help with. So, I know your spouse is not here to answer questions, but I think that maybe you might be able to answer about some of his interests. Okay. So, in France, are you more interested in history? Let me just say yes or no. Cuisine? Okay. Yes. Okay. Arts. Okay, So definitely the ballet and opera. Oh, okay, excellent, excellent. Okay. Yeah, yeah. That's okay. So, what about the countryside? Okay. Castles, tours for. Yeah. Okay. What about wine tasting or champagne? Not so much. Okay. What about now? There are areas of the Mediterranean and France that are less pricey than like the French Riviera, and they will be less crowded in May. So, if you are going, yes, they're so crowded in the summertime. Yeah, exactly. But if you wanted to, okay. All right. So it looks like, what you tell me, the best option for you, since you're into the arts and culture and the cuisine, I think you should start in Paris. I think everyone should start in Paris anyway. But, you know, you can see the Louvre, the art museum. In fact, every first Sunday of the month, I think a lot of the museums are free. So, Sunday, May 3rd, you could go do that for free. Isn't that excellent? Yes. There are two main opera houses that I know of. I actually have connections to the Opera de la Bastille. And let's see what they're playing that week. See if you have any interest in that, and then we'll check out the other opera house. Okay. So, Mozart's The Magic Flute. It's good. It's good. I actually have never seen it live. I have seen it on film. You are interested in that? Okay, I'm gonna mark that. So typically those tickets are 130 euros each, but I would be able to include that in your package as part of the perks of having a travel agent. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Now let's see. Okay. That's good. That's good. Okay. And then there's also, you know, the Eiffel Tower and Notre Dame. Lots of sightseeing in Paris. Okay, so Paris is divided up into like 20 neighborhoods, and you have everything from like the old-fashioned Parisian areas to kind of like hipster joints, hipster areas. There is like a student area, and it's less pricey. There's lots of cafes. Yes. Okay. So we know that you want to fly to Paris, and okay. So if you leave on the 1st, you probably won't actually get there until Saturday the 2nd. You accounted for that. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at plane tickets to Paris, and you will be flying back the 10th, which means you may not actually get back until the 11th. Okay. Okay. Now what airport are you gonna fly out of? Dulles International. From DC, it's probably the your best bet is the closest, and it would have the least layovers. Okay. I'll just type in some information. if you leave Dulles, I never pronounced that properly, I apologize. International at 5:20 p.m. on May 1st. You get to Dublin 5:30 a.m. So it's a red eye. Layover is 13 hours, so you would have all day to either sleep or explore the area. You're familiar with the, okay, yes. Then from Dublin to Chalet de Gaulle in Paris, actually like 16 miles from Paris. You would leave at 6:30 p.m. on the 2nd and get there at 9:10 p.m. Okay. And typically whatever hotel you're staying at will send you a free taxi. Taxi fare is equivocal about to what you would pay in New York City. You know, the euro is only slightly more than the dollar, so it is roughly the same. Yes. I think like base starts at like €2 and then it adds on per mile. So let's see. Okay. And then we would be flying back. I'm writing all this down for you, and then we'll print your tickets and get all that packaged for you before you go. On May 10th, you would leave Chalet de Gaulle at 3:45 p.m. and arrive in Dublin at 4:25 p.m. There's a 20-hour layover, and then from Dublin at 3:35 p.m. or I apologize, 12:45 p.m. You would arrive at 1 a.m. in Dulles. Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That sound good? Okay. Let's go. And so those tickets are $875 each. Okay. Yes. Now, let's talk about if there anywhere else in France you want to go. You mentioned that you want to see the countryside and castles and gardens. Now, a lot of the countryside is incorporated with like wine country. So there's like Burgundy and Champagne. Normandy. Which is you know, near the coast. Has some really lovely areas. The Alps. I didn't even ask you about the mountain. No? Okay. French Riviera. I'm thinking your best bet is Loire Valley. So, they have really cheap bed and breakfasts and tours to go see castles. There's a Renaissance garden there, and their cuisine is very okay, so one thing that I've learned about France is that they incorporate local fruits and vegetables into their cuisine more so than we do here in America. They're very big about that. When you go out to the countryside in the springtime, you're going to be eating such fresh, delicious. Yes, I think that that's a great place to go for that. The lavender will be blooming. It will be very lovely. And it's also pretty close to Paris. Let's see. Okay, it's 23 euros, or almost $25, to take a train from Paris to, yes, okay, so I'll show you on this map. Okay. Yeah, show you on this map. Right, so here, Paris. Okay. And you'll just be traveling like, so here's Paris, and you're just going to be traveling right down here to the countryside. And yeah, I think you'll get the most bang for your buck doing that. Yes, and they do have really great castles. In fact, the castle that inspired Sleeping Beauty is there. The golden age of monarchy, royal chateaus. It's very lovely, very lovely. So we'll do that. Okay. Now as far as where to stay in Paris, let's go ahead and I'm gonna just type in, and then we'll look at what areas they have some hotels available in your price range. And I'm just briefly looking here. Yeah, okay. That shows this. Okay, great. All right. So, let's take that up. Okay. So, you want to spend at least 3 days in the Loire Valley. So, let's do May 2nd through May 7th in Paris. Okay. What are some of your must-haves for a hotel? And keep in mind that there's actually quite a bit of hotels there that don't have air conditioning. And it's going to be kind of warm in May. Kind of warm. Not a huge factor. Okay. Wi-Fi. Free breakfast. Okay. I've heard great things about the Le Citizen Hotel. It's in Eastern Paris. They provide a taxi. They would provide a taxi to the airport to pick you up, and then they would provide a taxi to the train that would take you to the countryside. It's $600 for 2 people for the May 2nd through May 7th for 4 nights. It's a very great deal. Yes. Okay. And I'm going to show you a map of Paris and where that is in relation. I also recommend picking up Paris Boutique, which provides information about events that are going on, and like train information and things like that. Metro information, and is like your essential map guide. Okay. Let's find my map of Paris. Where's my attraction book? I apologize. I would love to see Notre Dame. Absolutely. Yes. It says Le Citizen Hotel, boasting direct views over the historic canal in a setting close to, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Minimalist chic decor, trendy neighborhood, friendly attentive staff, free breakfast. 20 minutes by metro from main attractions, so you could take the metro, you could take a taxi to the opera and to Notre Dame and to the Eiffel Tower, wherever it is you want to go. Okay, so here's the hotel you're staying at. Okay, I can't really see, I'm gonna come up out here for you. Okay, so here's the hotel. Okay, here's somewhere down here is the Opera House. You're gonna go to the Opera House. Notre Dame and the Eiffel Tower are gonna be like over in this area. Okay. So, it's close to, yeah. It's close to all that too. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. Now let's just okay. Let's find where we're going to stay in the countryside. So let's look for, you said, a bed and breakfast. Okay. Then Lower Valley, Loire. Okay. It's gonna be May 7th. So 3 nights. Okay. Any qualifications? Okay. All right. So I found a hotel here. It would only be $300. In Blois. And I'll show you where that is in relation to the other places you may want to go in the valley. This is Blois. This is where your this is the train, where the train would go, okay? And this is like, I think it said 10 miles from the train station. And you could take a taxi to this area. Yes. And then there are actually trains that leave from Blois to all of these other areas of Loire Valley. Where all the castles and the gardens. Okay. Yes. Chambord with woodlands, Renaissance reblooms and villandry, floriculture magnificence, romance, rowing a boat into the river. So, yes, and you'll be staying in a mansion with a swimming pool called the Villa Rofa. Yes. Okay. It's a 10-minute taxi from the train station, and that is included. Okay. So it's 300. Okay. And then you would take the train back for another 23 euros to your flight on May 10th. Yes. Now, in the countryside, they have tour buses. And I can go ahead and set you up for one, or you can wait and see which day you feel like doing what, but it's about 30 euros for a day of taking the train around. And that's for the castle tour, and it's 20 euros for the garden tour. Day trip. You just want to wait and see. Yeah, the people at the bed and breakfast will be able to assist you with that, definitely. Yes. And then as far as any other events, okay, so we have tickets to Opera de la Bastille on May 4th, Monday evening. It's going to be in the middle section, and those are complimentary. Did you want to plan any other? You are going to go to the Louvre on Sunday, and that's free. Okay, so in addition to what I charge you, you'll just need to make sure that you have cab fare for Paris and train fare for Loire. And in Paris, keep in mind you can go a lot of places on foot. Sometimes that's the best way to travel and to find some of the restaurants. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and process this. Okay. And I already have the information you gave me over the phone, your social, your name, your address, your phone number. I gave you contact information should anything go wrong. You call in an emergency and we will like rebook a flight or whatever we need to do. 'Tis another advantage of a travel agent. Yes. Okay. Let's see. So with taxes and everything else included for your trip, for your flight and your hotels and your train to and from the countryside, you're only looking at 3,000. So you have another 1,000 for food, shopping, tours. We did great. Yes. Yeah, definitely. I have I'm going to print out your tickets here, and I'm going to highlight some information for you, okay? So, this is our policy on, like, rescheduling things. Just read over a couple of these policies for us. Okay, and then I just need for you to sign. Here you go. Yes, thank you. Okay. This is information on taxes and my billing information. Okay, and I just need for you to sign there as well, and then I will take your credit card information. Okay. Here's a packet on traveling in France for you, and I'm just going to put this all together. So, the thing about France to know is that I will say, especially in Paris, they serve lunch between like 1 and 2. They're closed usually between 2 and 4. Museums are usually closed on Tuesdays. Dinner doesn't really start there till 7:30. And on Sundays a lot of things are closed except for markets I highly recommend not just eating at restaurants, I highly recommend exploring some of the markets and local grocers and things there. I think that submersing yourself in the culture is a great idea. Okay. When you go to a cafe, it's important you have to ask for the check. It's considered rude for them to just bring it to you unless you're at a cafe. Tips are typically included, but it's polite to leave a little bit of change. Yeah. Let's see, I'm trying to think. French etiquette. I'm going to give you this book and this map. Okay. So here is your map of France, and this also has bus information, phone numbers, everything that you need. You can take this with you. I'll put that in your packet with your train tickets and your... Okay, thank you. Take those. Got a copy of your receipt, and I'm just going to process your card. So, MasterCard. French etiquette. It's actually important to do formal greetings there. So it's Madame if the person is over 16, Mademoiselle if she's under 16, and Monsieur if it's a man. S'il vous plaît, please, merci, thank you. Okay, let me just print that receipt for you. Okay, great. Yes, let me put all this together for you. There's actually a pamphlet in here of French language, these basic phrases for you to learn, before you travel. It'll go a long way. Even if you just ask someone if they speak English, it's a good start. Despite what people say, they can be very friendly, just a little bit more formal. If you go to a nice restaurant, make sure to check out what the attire code is. And I think that's pretty much all you need to know. Maybe you can figure everything else out on your own, and that'll be part of the fun, right? Absolutely. Sure. Yes, I can help you book your trip to Greece when you get back. Absolutely, I would love to do that. Sure. Okay, great. And if you need to change anything or have any questions, just give me a call. Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. Have a nice